This lesson on more uses for commas comes from the 8th grade Houghton Mifflin English book. Use commas after words, phrases, and clauses that come at the beginning of a sentence. Use commas to separate interrupters, nouns of direct address, and unnecessary appositives in a sentence. An example of an interrupter: you know, of course, the purpose of this meeting. Of course is an interrupter, so both sides of it get a comma. You can take it out of the sentence and the sentence would still make sense. You know the purpose of this meeting. Direct address is a person that you are speaking to. It could also be a group. John, comma, I will need your help with this. John is direct address. Again, it gets a comma after it because you can take it completely out of the sentence. I will need your help with this still makes sense. And an appositive, Harold White, the president, Harold White, will present the award. A comma goes on both sides of it because you can take it out. The president will present the award. So let's do some examples. If the office is modern, you will see a few typewriters or pens. If the office is modern is a clause. Since it's starting the sentence, we put a comma after modern. Sorry, my comma is a little crazy. Wooden desks and bookcases, Flora, are a thing of the past. Flora is a noun in direct address. We're speaking to a girl named Flora, so there needs to be a comma on each side of it to show that we could take Flora out of the sentence and the sentence might still make sense. Wooden desks and bookcases are things of the past. Looking around, you notice that everything is steel or plastic. Looking around can be set off with a comma. Again, I can take that out of my sentence, and you notice that everything is steel or plastic still makes sense. Of course, John, the photocopy machine is always in use. John is the person we're speaking to, direct address. Commas go on both sides of his name because we could say, of course, the photocopy machine is always in use. The most important office tool, the computer, commands people's attention. Computer is an appositive describing the most important office tool, so we're going to put a comma on both sides of it to show that it can be taken out. The most important office tool commands people's attention. In a small room, the noisy printer rolls out page after page. In a small room, we don't need to know that, we can take it out. The noisy printer rolls out page after page. The pamphlet, your friendly computer, sits on everyone's desk. I'm going to need another comma here. The pamphlet, comma, your friendly computer, comma, sits on everyone's desk. Your friendly computer could be taken out. The pamphlet sits on everyone's desk makes sense. Okay, next page. Yes, everyone is affected by a computer in some way. Yes is an introductory word, so we can set it off with a comma. Everyone is affected by a computer in some way makes sense. When you dial the phone, comma, a computer connects your call. A computer connects your call can stand by itself. At the local supermarket, comma, a computer speeds your checkout. A computer speeds your checkout can stand by itself. Regulating electricity, comma, the computer supplies constant power. After regulating electricity can be taken out, the computer supplies constant power makes sense. Meteorologists, comma, scientists who study the weather, comma, rely on computer information. I can take out scientists who study weather and meteorologists rely on computer information makes sense. Although computers are changing our lives, comma, they are only tools. They are only tools makes sense by itself. No, comma, my friend, sorry for the typo, they are not smarter than humans. They are not smarter than humans can stand by itself. Also, no, they are not smarter than humans can stand by itself. We can take out my friend. They were, comma, in fact, comma, created by humans. They were created, in fact, they were created by humans. Like any other tool, comma, the computer helps us to do things, comma, Peter, noun and direct address. The computer helps us do things, can stand by itself. The first computers built were huge. There's no need for a comma here. I can't take anything out where the sentence would still make sense. So no commas in this sentence. Number 18, Susan, comma, compare those old computers with a modern desktop model. Compare those old computers with a modern desktop model makes sense. The book, comma, Computers for Your Life, comma, gives the history of this invention. The book gives the history of this invention. Today's computers, marvels of speed and compactness, we don't need to know that they are marvels of speed and compactness, use tiny silicone chips, oh, I need another comma, An invention of the 1970s. Let's move this out of the way so we can see why. We can take out marvels of speed and compactness. Today's computers use tiny silicone chips. I also don't need to know an invention of the 1970s, so therefore the comma has to go there as well.